it is a pleasure and honor, a privilege to be with you this evening to offer the introduction on behalf of DCJ for the William A. Vrooman Exemplar of Justice Award to my friend, to my big brother, Mr. Darryl, Wolfie Chambers. I first met Mr. Chambers, I believe at the top of spring 2009. And at that time, Mr. Chambers organized the troops on the ground for the Wilmington Hope Commission's Street Outreach Program, which was a groundbreaking outreach initiative that canvassed the streets of Wilmington. And they conducted outreach on the pavement with hundreds, if not thousands, in the community on the topics of gun violence and reentry. It was after this outreach program that Wolf and I embarked on our journey. And together, him and I launched the Wilmington's first street participatory action research project, the People's Report. Wolf was a senior research associate on that project, and he was integral to identifying other community members or key persons in the streets to also be a part of our journey. I must underscore that Wolf, in many respects, single-handedly made sure that our project was well received and supported by real people in the city of Wilmington. Everything that I've been able to actually do in Wilmington, if I'm being honest, has only occurred because he allowed me to. And he always did that with grace, and he always did it with respect. But everything that I was able to achieve professionally in the streets of Wilmington was ultimately because of Wolf. And from the bottom of my heart and the center of my spirit, thank you. Thank you for trusting me with your city. Wolf, whether you realize it or not, you have changed so many lives for the better. You have literally saved so many people's lives. So many count on you, so many lean on you, and you never even act like it's a burden. Every person you touch actually walks away much better than they were before you entered their lives. I hope you know that the city of Wilmington and the state of Delaware and the streets of Wilmington and many inside Delaware's prisons will never, ever forget what you have done for them, what you have sacrificed, because they will never, ever again meet someone like you. I promise you that, brother. Nothing about you is deceptive or manipulative. You are the antithesis of selfishness. Whether you realize it or not, you can't actually say this about too many other folk. In a world filled with such dishonor and such lowly behavior, you have been a shining example of an African king. Uncompromising about your values, your moral center grounds you in a world where so many have lost their humanity. You're always people first, especially for our people, Black Americans, descendant of the slave South. And thank you. Thank you for always protecting me, for vouching for me, and always holding me down when so many have worked so hard to separate us. And I'm not talking about the people in the community. Thank you for everything you've done for me and everything you've done for the folk in the city of Wilmington. Wolf, remember when we visited my brother in Harlem last year, and I've spoken to you so many years about him, and I've spoken to him for so many years about you. But remember what he said when we finally met in Harlem, which is so befitting of your character. My brother Calvin said to you, it's blood that makes you related, but it's loyalty that makes you family. Thank you for taking care of my little brother Yasser in Delaware. Also, I just want to say, Wolf, your son Dominique, you know he's looking down on you tonight. He's looking down on Jihad and of course the rest of your family. Dom continues to protect you and your family, and he continues to make sure you receive your just rewards. With respect to just some of Mr. Chambers' achievements, let me underscore, Mr. Chambers holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Sociology from the University of California, Davis, and a master's degree in criminology from the University of Delaware. He's also employed as a senior research associate at the University of Delaware's Center for Drug and Health Studies. In 2014, Governor Jack Markell appointed him to serve on the Wilmington Public Safety Strategies Commission to examine public safety approaches in Wilmington. In 2016, Mr. Chambers serves as the co-chair of the CDC Community Advisory Council, a committee set up to focus on youth violence and positive youth development. Also in 2016, Mr. Chambers was the recipient of the University of Delaware's Ratledge Family Award for his outstanding community service. In 2017, Mr. Chambers was appointed as the chair of the Council of Corrections. Mr. Chambers is also currently the executive director of the Center for Structural Equity, True Achievement on North Tatnall Street, where youth development and violence prevention programs operate out of. And on any given day, you can find dozens of young folk, right, just doing good work and in a positive and warm space. Lastly, Mr. Chambers is a co-author on our book project, Murder Town, USA, Homicide, Structural Violence, and Activism. And of course, that's coming soon. It is a pleasure to work with you, brother. And thank you for everything that you have taught me. Without further ado, virtual audience, please join me in awarding DCJ's 2020 William A. Vrooman Award to my friend, my big brother, the People's Champion, Mr. Darryl L. Chambers, AKA Wolfie. Congratulations, brother.
Dr. Payne, Brother Payne, yes. It's truly an honor to receive this award today, and I'm very humbled by it. As many folks who know me, that I'm really not into awards, because sometimes I feel the awards don't recognize the people who help you get there. Both the mentorship that I received from Dr. Yasser Payne, the people at the Center for CDAS, the people in the state, Yvonne, people at United Way, the people in the county, Matt Mars and them. It never takes into account that the great mentorship that I received, and that I'm a part of a sum of people who took their time to make me to the person I'm in today. But with all that being said, I'm still humbled by this award right here, and I'm greatly honored to receive it today. But know that I'm just the face of a group of people who have made all this right here possible. So all the work and all the trust that people have put in me, I'm deeply grounded in that right there, and they keep me grounded. And I will continue to serve these people as much as I can. But let's take this back a little bit. Dr. Yasser Payne mentioned that when I first met him, it was 2009. But I had just been released from the federal penitentiary, where I was supposed to be doing 27 years. But because of a change in the crack cocaine law, I actually got out in 2009. I wasn't supposed to come home until 2017. That's 3 years ago. But because someone went out there and fought justice for me, a college graduate, a recent college graduate, who was only trying to get money to go to grad school, not to build an empire. So someone went out there and they fought hard for me. But once I realized that people directed me and guided me to get to where I'm at today, but I realized that I no longer got my wicked jump shot, my knee is bad, 20 pounds overweight, that there's a new line of folks that's coming up who want to carry on our mission. So at the Center for Structural Equity, what we're trying to do is that we're trying to build that new army of young folks. Because I think what happened from the 1980s to 2000 is that we lost the ability to teach our young folks that it's about the betterment of their people. So now the Center for Structural Equity, we're really purposeful about making sure that we have that next round of leadership in the pipeline.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the number one thing I point to is one of our programs called the MEET program. And MEET is an acronym that stands for mentoring, because you can't get there without mentoring, right? The science is full of how important mentoring is to young Black and brown young men, right?
Yes,
The next one is education. We're real serious about education. Early on this year, when I was asked about what are some of the things that we need to look at, and I said that we have argued for centuries that our children aren't getting a fair and just education going to school in person at 8 hours a day. I don't know how now, with the strain that's going to be on some of these families, that we're going to add some of these caregivers to watch over these kids, to navigate across these different platforms, and our kids are going to receive a fair and just education. So we started setting up learning pods. So we got learning pods here where we bring kids in who are the children of essential workers, frontline workers, or mothers and fathers who just can't afford to stay home. Because that's important to us. And we track these kids. We want to know how many days you're in attendance. What is your grades like? Whether or not you're getting infraction in school. The other thing we try to do, we try to give them a couple dollars in their pocket. So the next E stands for employment. Kids making between $12 to $15 an hour, 20 hours a week. Oddly enough, one kid told me, I actually make more than my mom. Right? Same reality, right? But he said that it gives me a good feel when I'm able to go home and help her with the electric bill. So those are the kind of leaders that we're building here. And the last one is trust, because we don't believe that any of this right here can be done without trust, right? Because I remember when Dr. Payne came to me and he said, there's this theoretical framework called structural inequality, and that structural inequality leads to violence. And I'm saying, I don't know what you're talking about. But after several conversations, I understood he was talking about anywhere where you find this at in our communities, an over-aggressive criminal justice system,
that's right.
an underperforming educational system,
That's right.
a lack of proper medical care, concentrated poverty, then you're going to see violence. You're going to see unjust policies instituted on the people. And how do we actually address these kind of things? We do that by making sure that everyone is provided equal opportunity. Because we believe, and this is also part of our thesis, that if you bring us what you call the worst of the worst, we're going to send them back to you, the kings and queens that they're supposed to be.
That's right.
Right?
That's
So
right.
now that's what we're talking about justice. And that's real justice right there. When you actually give them the opportunity they deserve so that they can be the people that they're supposed to be.
Yes, sir.
And with that right there being said, I would like to thank my family who's always there for me, all my great mentors, all the great folks who believe in me. Know that when one of us go uptown, we all go uptown. In my neighborhood, Riverside, we still say we as the collective. So when I get something, all I'm gonna say, Wolfie, we made it. Because that's how we are. So I thank everyone here tonight. I thank you, Dr. Payne, for the incredible mentorship you have provided me. And it's time for us to make sure that the next group of soldiers can move on and carry the weight, because it might not be long before we're gone.
That's right, brother. That's
So
right.
I thank everyone. I thank DCJ for honoring me today. And I'm hope that I'm able to carry this right here. As I read the former recipients of this award, I hope I'm able to carry in the same vein. So thank you guys.
Salute, brother. Congratulations.
And my friend John.